solemnly swear, I guess you have to hold up your right hand, that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the appointment of Architecture Review Board according to law, and do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state, nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, and have not acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted a person thus offending, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. So I think you can just sign that form and then they'll send it to me to notarize.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you and welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome, Brittany. We're glad to have you.
Excited.
Welcome, Brittany.
All right, we'll just wait for Patty and we'll get started. She should be here momentarily.
B. We're delighted to have you. And we will start with the roll call, please.
Nicole Conkle. Nicole Conkle.
Uh-oh, where did she go?
Johnson.
Here.
Jennifer Oberlin.
Here.
Brittany Sams.
Here.
Patty Cross.
And I'm finally here.
We do have a quorum with 4.
Okay. All right, we will start with, has everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes? And, okay, now where, oh, there she is. I would entertain a motion regarding the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from last.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second. That's Jen.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Hi.
All righty. Madam Secretary, please call the first item.
In accordance with Articles 4 and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Jen Williamson, on behalf of the Franklin County Trust for Historic Preservation, is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to relocate the existing structure at 216 Murray Street to property located at 228 East 2nd Street and 230-230.5 East 2nd Street. The applicant is also requesting to modify the chimney and the front porch of the structure and place the structure upon a concrete block foundation at the proposed new location. The properties are more particularly identified as PVA map numbers 062-31-14-010.00 and 062-31-18-007.00 and 062-31-18-006.00.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Miller?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Jordan Miller, City of Frankfort Planning Department. So tonight, as Dawn mentioned, we have a request to relocate an existing structure. It was previously a single-family dwelling, but it's been vacant for some time. Currently, the windows are boarded up and it hasn't had a vacancy for a while. But the Franklin County Trust has been coordinating this proposal with the First Corinthian Church, which is located on the corner of Murray Street and East 2nd Street. The church would like to expand their existing structure with a community center, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But in order to do so, there's that existing structure that's currently in the way of any expansion for the church. So First Corinthian Church was once located downtown in the late 1960s during the urban renewal period of the Capitol Plaza area, which I'm sure you all are familiar with. The church was forced to be relocated to their current location on the corner there of Murray and 2nd Street. As such, the move will be about 250 feet away, right around the corner. There are 2 lots currently that the trust has under contract with Mr. Thompson, who owns those 2 lots, to purchase those 2 lots, as well as the structure eventually from the church, and then mothball that structure, and then eventually sell it to an individual who would utilize it as a residence down the road. So the trust has been in contact with the SHPO office, as well as with the National Register Coordinator, and they are in support of the proposed move, is that it's still within the same district, national district. It also is within the same zoning district. So both of those, the local protections still will pertain, as well as the optional tax credits for a property owner in the future to utilize. So we're recommending approval with a few conditions, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. The architect, as well as the president of the trust, is with us tonight in attendance.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for staff?
Madam Chair, may I ask a question of staff?
Yes.
Move, it indicates there are 2 lots, Jordan. Are we making certain that this structure is only on one of those 2, or will it be straddling the property line on those 2?
I want to pull up here site plan real quick here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so with my conversations with the architect, it's been surveyed, and I believe that it could fit on one lot, but they may be on. Either way, we'll go through that process to make sure that it complies with our zoning regulations, that it's platted and recorded. I believe it may be, depending on how the specifics and the details are planned out eventually, it may have to be a little bit on those 2 lots, but staff is still in support of whether it be on one or those 2 lots. It will obviously need to be consolidated into one if they do the 2. The architect probably can give you a little bit more detailed information on that.
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay. Did Mr. Cockley have something he wanted to say?
No, Jordan covered it. I was just going to add that that's a conversation Jen and I have had as well. And so we were looking to get through this part of the process before spending the extra time and energy to get that consolidation plat recorded. So, but great question. But yeah, we'll make sure to get that done before permits are issued and things are moved.
All right, thank you.
And Jordan, this is Jen Oberlin. This might be a better question for the architect, but I'm just curious. Is the new foundation going to be raised out of the floodplain, like higher than the homes next to this if moved?
Let me pull up here. I'm going to share my screen again. Wrong thing. It will be raised out of the floodplain, yes. Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding that. Yeah, it will be sufficiently raised above the floodplain. I think the way that it might be on your site plan that was submitted, there may be a portion that was within it, but it needs to be raised a foot. And there will have to be a stream construction permit and all that. That will have to be submitted to the state as well. There we go. I'm sorry. I missed it on my attachment. Yeah, if you look on page 4 of your attachments, it shows the floodplain elevation. But yeah, we'll have to be sufficiently raised.
Oh, yeah.
All righty. Any other questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Mr. Miller. Would the applicant okay, we need to turn on our, there we go.
Sorry, I'm here.
That's all right. It's a technological strange day.
Yes, okay. Let's see. With regard to the lot and the flood elevation, we've had a base flood elevation survey completed by Harry Girdler. We have pretty good information on the lot line survey, although he has not fully executed lot line survey. He wanted to check an additional reference point. But we have a general sense of the width of the lots, and that is what we are showing in the background of the drawing. So we believe that the structure will sit with the setbacks as shown in the application drawings on the middle lot. If after Harry performs the lot line survey, we find that we do not have sufficient space. Right now it looks good, but if he goes through all that and finds some sort of discrepancy against what he's already mapped out, we have the ability to tie the lots together, and that's why we are securing both of the lots.
Okay.
But we are aiming to locate the structure on the middle lot freestanding, so that we wouldn't necessarily need to do the lot tie. The base flood elevation survey was completely completed because that was a part of our due diligence on vetting this lot. Essentially, the way it works is the base flood elevation is mapped and shows on this drawing that's on the screen. 2 feet above the base flood elevation is the point where we can construct new and put a floor elevation. That pinpoint is just about in the parkway between the grass, between the street and the sidewalk. There's a monument marker that he has out there for us. And we are putting the finished floor of the structure 2 feet above that location. So we will be 4 feet out of the base flood elevation. So we'll be 2 feet above what we're required to be. It will put the structure above the elevation of the structure will be above the floor elevation of the structure that's on the corner. And I don't really know how it relates to the other structures on the street, but it will be the foundation will raise the finished floor of the house above the flood elevation at that location, and it'll also raise the finished floor of the house higher respect to the grade than in its current location. It's currently very close to grade, and the front porch is actually an existing concrete slab. So we'll have to build that up on some sort with wood on some sort of raised foundation for the front porch, so that we can't move the concrete slab.
Okay. Was there anything that you wanted the commission to know beyond what's in the staff's report?
Well, I might just reiterate what we put in our letter to you, which is that we really find this to be a very unique situation, that, maybe moving a historic resource in a district isn't always the most ideal situation, but in this instance, in order to allow the church to continue its mission in this neighborhood, and with the availability of a feasible lot in good proximity that can maintain the structure's contributing status to the district, we felt that we wanted to, in this very unique instance, try to do this as a problem solver.
Okay. There are three conditions that staff have recommended. Do you have any problems with any of those?
No, I think those are all conditions that that we certainly can meet. The permit, getting the building permit, which we certainly will do. Additional projects, if we get to a point where we're going to do more with the structure. But I did want to make sure that we were clear with the board in the letter and everything that our involvement in the project with the property will be to get the building preserved by moving it to the new location. And we will have a building permit in order to, do the foundational work and set the, whatever inspection the city inspector needs for the setting of the building on that foundation. And then our intention is to find an investor or a homeowner who's going to be interested in taking the project to a full rehabilitation. The trust is not proposing a full rehabilitation that leads to an occupancy certificate.
Okay.
We feel that the market has shown some real interest in investment and that homeowners are looking for the ability to locate in South Frankfort. So we are optimistic for the potential for this to happen relatively quickly.
Okay. Does your president wish to make any statements? Ms. Wilkerson?
Jen summarized what we're, the purpose of this application very succinctly. I will just add our enthusiasm and gratefulness to all parties who have been involved, both the church and the owner of the vacant lots, to be able to come to an almost deal pending your all's deliberation and decision that will really benefit the community as a whole.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Are
I
there
have a question.
Yes.
What is the time frame for the foundation to be started and the actual move to take place?
So we are working to have a schedule where we would be mobilizing the project in the early part of 2021. We have a house mover selected. We are having a coordination meeting. Hopefully we're having a coordination with Plant Board on Thursday with that building mover. I'm hoping I'm hoping that we will have foundational work going in February. The construction market is busy and lining up contractors can take some time. We are going to have to let that contract for the foundation. But the house mover can move as soon as mid to late February with his current schedule.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Wilkerson?
I wanted to ask the applicant about any potentially unearthed underground resources, if there's been any discussion, because my understanding is correct, that's a pretty historic site on its own.
The site that we're moving to. So we will have foundational work that will involve trenching at the site. We are locating this structure. Our proposal locates the structure on the middle site. And I don't know if Jordan can pull up the overlay that showed the Sanborns, but the site of the Winnie Scott Hospital is the vacant lot that is between the existing, to the left. I don't know. So I think it's, yeah, there you go. Wait, you just passed it. One more down, I think. So we are locating the structure on the middle lot, and the site of the Winnie Scott Hospital, as you can see there from that 1940s, I think this is the 1942 Sanborn, is on the next lot over. And with the overlay of Harry's survey and the layout that we have from the field measure, it looks like we're going to have, I would guess, certainly a 5-foot to a 10-foot setback from the footprint of that site. There was a separate freestanding structure that was on the site that we are on. And my understanding is that both of these structures were destroyed by fire within, I think it was within the last 30 years. So I'm not sure what kind of method was used for removing the debris of the structure, but at the surface of the grass, we don't see any evidence of foundations or anything in this location that we're proposing.
Oberlin, did that answer your question?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm assuming that if anything was discovered, it would be addressed properly. One other consideration, there's no removal of mature trees or anything like that. Everything that's there is relatively young, correct?
Yes, I believe so. We are going to have to remove some of the sort of scrubby vegetation that's there. There's a tree in the parkway that certainly will have to be removed because it's kind of in the trajectory of the move. So, yes. So I don't think anything in the area where we're placing the house that is towards the front of the lot out of the floodplain is mature.
And then, I'm sorry, I do. Well, this is such a unique proposal in terms of we don't see something like this very often. The house in its current state, and I'm going to assume, Jordan, you can answer this, and maybe Barrister Logan's going to say that's not even in your purview, but is the house in its current state up to code? I mean, there are no current,
There are no open violations from the city against the structure. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So as long as it stays intact like it is now, once moved and sitting in dust mothballing condition, then it should be okay, no code violations.
Well,
yes. Sorry.
Code violation occur after the move, that still does not relinquish the city's jurisdiction to go in and seek a correction of that. Okay. And obviously it's not subject to being occupied or have an occupancy permit granted now.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Sams, did you have any questions for the applicant?
At this time.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions?
I always hate to give up an opportunity to cross-examine Ms. Wilkerson, but I'm going to pass tonight.
Oh, no. This can't be. Okay. We would entertain a motion.
I would be delighted to make this motion that we approve a certificate of appropriateness in accordance with Articles 417 to relocate the existing structure at 216 Murray Street to be located at 228 East Second Street and between 230 and 230 and a half East Second Street, along with the staff's 3 recommendations.
Is there a second?
This is Jennifer Oberlin, and I'll second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Yes, and I'm sorry if my dog barks. My husband just come home. Miss Oberlin,
Yes.
Miss Johnson,
Yes.
Miss Sams,
Yes.
and Miss Cross.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. We're pleased to see this go forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Jen and Natalie for really making my job easy on this, and I really appreciate all their work and coordination. It's been a great, it's been great. Thank you.
And also, I would, off the record, I'd love for this to be kind of a community event when the property is moved. That's not something that happens every day in our historic downtown, so it's kind of neat to be a party to that.
Yes, please announce so we can all go down and stare. Okay, let's have our second item, please.
In accordance with Articles 4, 17, 18, and 19 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, First Corinthian Baptist Church is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to construct an attached community center to the existing church, as well as a conditional use permit in order to expand the existing church for the property located at 214 Murray Street and 216 Murray Street. The properties are more particularly identified as PVA map number 062-31-14-010.00 and 062-31-14-009.00.
Right. So the church is currently located on the corner of East 2nd Street and Murray Street. They would like to construct a 120-foot by 54-foot community center attached to the existing church. It's about 30 feet tall. It will be located along Murray Street there at the rear of the church, partially on the lot that we just discussed with the proposed to be relocated single-family dwelling. It will have an exterior covering of brick and metal siding, vertical metal siding, windows that match the existing structure, and a metal roof, which you won't really be able to see from the visibly from the right of way. So we are recommending approval of the proposed community center. As such, we also have to amend a conditional use permit because the church will be expanding. This is something that Eric and I worked on this year, specifically for this case, to add this to our code. It was previously a existing non-conforming use, but since they're going to expand it, we added churches as a conditional use within the special capital zoning district. So they're also requesting that conditional use permit as well. So both those reviews are within your staff report, and we recommend approval with the 4 conditions that you may have. I believe Pastor Whitlock and attorney are with us tonight as well. So haven't had any calls, opposition, or regarding the project, just to let you know that as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Do we have questions for staff? Ms. Oberlin?
How'd you know? Jordan, I'm just curious about the height of the proposed addition compared to the structure that's currently there. Are they?
Yeah, here, I'll share my screen right now and show you. Okay. So this is, if you see my mouse, my cursor here, this is along Murray Street. If we're looking at it from Murray Street, here's the existing structure here, from here to here. And then this is the proposed new structure here, the addition. So it is just about in line. I believe that says 30 feet there, and this one looks like it's about 29.10, so almost identical in height. It does have a different type of roof. It's just a typical gable style roof, where the other one is kind of a more contemporary, strangely sloped / flat roof.
And are the materials going to be two different roofing materials?
No, I just think you kind of see here on this location here, you're able to see, yeah, the standing seam metal on the sides here. I think it kind of almost like a parapet here that comes up, reach that point of the gable and come down.
Okay. And one more point of clarification about the design. The bricks will face Murray Street?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Sams, did you have a question?
I did have a question. It was kind of the same one about the height. When I was reading the plans, it looks like the original, the highest point of elevation on the original structure is 28 feet, if I'm reading that correctly. And then the height of the addition, the roof line, it looks like it's 29.8. So that, if I'm reading these plans correctly, that is a little higher than the original elevation. So I don't necessarily think I have an issue with it. It just was something that I wanted to point out.
Yeah, it looks like you're right, Brittany. So it's kind of hard for me to tell. I think that says 28 feet 0 inches here on the existing.
And it was like the grading looks a little lower, so I didn't know if the height
yeah, that's true. The sloping of the
it slopes down. So.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like with the slope, it would almost be an identical height. But then again, I'm not the.
That's just something I wanted to ask about and check on.
Sure. Did you have any other questions? What about Ms. Johnson?
Well, it looks like the very front that faces onto 2nd Street is a lot higher. So I can see it as I start looking at it, it's almost like it's going to be a curve that comes back up to near the same height on the other end. My question is, the materials that's going to be used in the front facade, will it complement or will it be the same as the brick structure of the building?
Yes. Excuse me. Sorry. From my understanding, yeah, the brick will complement and match the existing brick on the structure. There is not currently any vertical metal siding located on the exterior side, the covering of the church. But if you notice here from, let me share my screen real quick. Notice here the elevations with the vertical metal siding are located on the sides and the rear, so hopefully they won't be too prevalent with reference to the existing structure, unless you kind of walked around it.
Those being on the side.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Okay. Who's speaking for the applicant?
I'm Richard Murphy. I'll be speaking, at least initially, for the applicant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a land use attorney in Lexington, and I'm honored tonight to be representing First Corinthian Baptist Church. Pastor Leslie Whitlock is with us as well. And I think 2 or 3 of his deacons may be there in the office with him. Martin Hogan of Harbor Construction is on the line as well with us. And I think Chaz Hyde, who's a professional land use planner, may be on the line as well. We really don't have too much to add to the staff report. It was very complete. And we do agree with the staff conditions of approval. We especially want to thank everyone who has worked on this, especially the Franklin County Trust, for their patience and their perseverance in helping us get this project approved. This has been a dream of the church for quite some time. I know they came to me over a year ago, well over a year ago, to try to further this project. And we've had a lot of help and a lot of cooperation from the your all staff, Mr. Miller, Mr. Cockley, and the, as I said, especially the Franklin County Trust and the other public people, public officials in the area. It's going to be a true community outreach center. It's not something that's just for church members. It's for the community and to serve the church's mission for God, and also to serve the people of this community. And we're very proud of this. And we can go on and on about all the programs that'll be there and all the good we feel it'll do. But I think at this point we'll rest with the report that you have gotten from your staff. We do agree with that.
Thank you so much. Okay, anyone else from the applicants who wishes to speak? Okay, do we have questions for the applicant? Ms. Oberlin? No? Ms. Sams? No? Ms. Johnson?
The only question that I had was just curious if any neighbors had any concerns about parking, given the how much use the center will probably be used. I didn't see any area for additional parking anywhere.
I don't know of any concerns that have been expressed. I've checked with Mr. Miller, and I don't think there'd been any calls or neighborhood concerns expressed about the application.
No, I have not. That's correct.
Okay, any other questions?
I
Okay.
don't have another question, but I am enjoying these great pictures that you've included in the report. They're really cool.
Yes, they are. Okay, we would entertain a motion. Maybe? Is there a motion?
Okay, then.
Okay, go Arma, go.
Okay, well, I would make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness in accordance with 417, 18, and 19 of the city of Frankfort for the addition for the community center.
Congratulations, Pastor Whitlock and Richard, period.
I'm sorry, that is Mr. Height. I think he was talking into his phone at that time. We apologize for the interruption.
That's okay. Ms. Johnson, start over, please.
I don't mind at all.
And Arma, make sure you throw in the conditional use permit.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Ms. Johnson, would you make the motion for both the certificate of appropriateness and the conditional use permit?
Okay, I certainly will.
Thanks.
I'll start over. I propose that we approve the certificate of appropriateness in accordance with the articles that are stated for 17, 18, and 19 for to construct the attached community center to the existing church, as well as a conditional use permit in order to expand the existing church located at 214 Murray Street and 216 Murray Street, and accept the 4 conditions that the staff had itemized.
I think that covered it. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's see, I guess we're ready to call the roll.
Dawn, you're on
Miss
mute.
Dawn, you're muted.
Sorry. Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Oberlin,
Yes.
Ms. Sams,
Yes.
Ms. Cross.
Yes,
Motion carries.
wonderful. And I think this has been a very productive meeting. I think I'm just thrilled that we could put all this all worked out. So, is there any other business?
Good way to end the year. Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Mr. Murphy, my congratulations. You finally got a deserving client.
I knew you'd have to say something, Mr. Logan.
And I appreciate your your speed tonight in getting it across. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I will second it.
Thank you. And everyone have happy holidays, and we look forward to seeing you in January.
Goodbye. Happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays.
And I apologize for Henry.
No worries.